You've done the work. You've faced your past. You've started the habits. You've found some courage. But do you feel free? Or do you feel like you're just running a new, more complicated program? The program of self-optimization. I fell into this trap hard. I tried to control every variable of my life, thinking that was the path to freedom. But I'd only built a newer, more beautiful prison for myself, one made of productivity apps and perfect routines. What I discovered is that the final step towards freedom isn't more control, it's surrender. In this episode, we explore an ancient wisdom that offers a true escape: the art of letting go. Join me to learn how to find power not in forcing life, but in finally dancing with it.
After years of working on myself, understanding my past, building better habits, facing my fears, I thought I had found the formula. I became an architect of my own life. My days were masterpieces of intention. I had a morning routine optimized for peak mental clarity. My work was time-blocked into focused sprints. My evenings were a carefully calibrated sequence of winding down. I tracked my habits, my moods, my productivity. On paper, I was the perfect model of a self-actualized person. And for a while, it felt incredible. It felt like control. It felt like power. But a strange anxiety began to creep in at the edges. A single unplanned meeting could shatter the perfect architecture of my day, leaving me feeling irritable and thrown off. A day where I felt sad or unmotivated felt like a system failure. The freedom I had been seeking was starting to feel brittle, fragile. I had escaped the prison of my old limitations only to build myself a new one, a gilded cage of optimization where the warden was my own relentless pursuit of perfection. This is the shadow side of personal development. It's the final, seductive trap on the path to freedom. We believe that if we can just find the right system, the right hack, the right routine, we can eliminate uncertainty, conquer our humanity, and achieve a state of permanent, predictable success. We turn the beautiful work of self-awareness into a stressful job of self-surveillance. I realized I was trying to hold back the ocean with a spreadsheet, and it was exhausting. The escape from this trap doesn't come from a new productivity app. It comes from an ancient, counterintuitive wisdom. It's the art of letting go. In his book, 4,000 Weeks, Oliver Burkeman reminds us of a fundamental truth we spend our lives trying to ignore. Our time is finite. You will never, ever get everything done. There will always be more interesting books to read, more important projects to start, more wonderful experiences to have than you could possibly fit into your short life. The attempt to optimize every moment is a denial of this reality. It's a struggle against the fundamental nature of being human. True peace and effectiveness, Burkeman argues, come from first accepting our limitations. And from that acceptance, we can learn a powerful Taoist principle: Wu Wei. Wu Wei is often translated as non-action, but that's misleading. It more accurately means effortless action or non-forcing. It's not about passivity. It's about acting in harmony with the natural flow of things rather than trying to impose your rigid will upon them. It's the difference between frantically rowing against the current and skillfully using a sail to harness the wind. Think of a gardener.
A gardener who tries to control everything operates from a place of force. They follow a rigid, predetermined schedule for watering, regardless of the weather. They obsessively pull every weed, trying to create a sterile, perfect environment. They try to make every plant grow in a perfectly straight line. This gardener is constantly anxious, and their garden is brittle, lacking resilience. But a gardener practicing Wu Wei operates from a place of wisdom. They understand the nature of the garden. They feel the soil to see if it needs water. They watch the sun and the clouds. They allow for a little bit of wildness, knowing that a diverse ecosystem is a healthy one. They work with the seasons, the plants, and the land, not against them. They expend less effort, and their garden is vibrant, resilient, and alive. They are not a commander, they are a collaborator. In what area of your life are you acting like the first gardener, trying to apply the most force and control? What would it feel like to soften your grip? So how do we practice this strategic surrender in our own lives?
First, we must consciously choose what to neglect. Instead of trying to do everything, we must accept that we can only do a few things well. We must embrace the joy of missing out, the quiet relief that comes from deciding that most things are not, in fact, our task. This isn't failure, it's strategy. Second, we must learn to listen to our intuition again. Instead of blindly following a pre-written plan for the day, pause. Ask yourself, what feels like the most essential, harmonious action to take right now? Sometimes the answer will be to do the hard thing on your list. Other times it might be to go for a walk and do nothing at all. The plan is a map, not a cage. And finally, we must change our relationship with setbacks. When things go wrong, when a project fails, when a day gets derailed, see it not as a failure of your system, but as the river of life, changing course. The question is not, how do I get back on my rigid track? The question is, how do I flow with this new reality? Think about a time you felt completely in the flow, totally absorbed in an activity. Were you forcing it? Or were you responding effortlessly to the demands of the moment? The ultimate freedom is in not the successful elimination of all of life's uncertainty and messiness. That's a fantasy. The ultimate freedom is developing a mind that is no longer frightened by uncertainty and messiness. It is the shift from seeing your life as a project to be managed to seeing it as a dance to be danced. You learn the steps, you practice your craft, but when the music starts, your job is to listen, to feel, and to move with your partner, which is life itself. It is a state of relaxed, alert, and joyful presence, even when the steps are complex. I still love routines. I still plan my days, but I hold those plans loosely now. I've learned to build space into my life for spontaneity, for rest, for simply being. I am learning to be less of a commander and more of a gardener. The control you think you need is the very thing that's holding you captive. True power lies in the wisdom to know when to hold on and when to let go. This week, I invite you to practice one small act of strategic surrender. Choose one thing you feel you should do and consciously decide not to do it. Or ignore your to-do list for 1 hour and simply follow a moment of genuine curiosity. Don't try to fill that empty space, just notice how it feels. That space is the beginning of a new kind of freedom. Thank you for joining me on the freedom equation. Protect your peace.